Hi, this is Dieter for SiteManager.io. In this video, I'm going to explain how you can design components using Flex layouts. Let's get started. The first thing we do, just like in the previous video, is design a new component. But this time, instead of using grid, we're going to create a Flex component. We change the layout from grid to horizontal flex. You can also pick vertical flex, but for this example we're going to choose a horizontal flex, which means that all the elements will be divided into horizontal columns. We start by adding some elements to our flex. We have added 4 elements to our horizontal flex layout, and by default Flex will position all the elements in one single row next to each other. If we click Enable Wrap Children, it will position the different elements into multiple rows when there's no space available for it. If you want to change the position of the element, you can simply go to the Layers panel and, for example, click on Header 1 and bring it to the front like this. You can also simply click on any element, right click on any element, sorry, and also do the same thing. Before we continue with our Flex properties, I'm going to add some padding to the banner of our component by simply clicking on the banner and click Style Elements, go to the banner settings, go to Dimensions, and add a top and bottom padding of 100 pixels. Save it, close the panel like this. One of the things you can do when setting the sizes of your block is simply by clicking on the block, for example this image, and you will see the size property appear. Right now the width and height is set to automatic, but we're going to change the width to 50% of the line, and as you can see, it immediately recalculates the block and shows the image at 50%. And we'll do the same thing for the second image, also set it to 50%, like this. What's really cool is that if you go back and select the layout, you will be able to change the gap between the elements, and if you change the gap, for example, make it bigger, you will see that the image will always remain 50% compared to each other. So it recalculates the percentages. So let's put it back to 30. To complete our width settings, we are going to also set the width of the text and the header to 100%, so they take up the full line. Flex also supports auto hide, which you don't have in grid, where you position the width and the height inside the grid of the blocks. For example, if we select this text element and we go to change the content and, for example, add a lot more content to it, just copy this lorem ipsum a couple of times, click Save, return to the application, you will see that the height of the element has been adjusted automatically, which is something that doesn't happen in grid. If you go outside of the grid dimensions, you will have an overflow issue. With the Flex properties, you can determine how these blocks are aligned compared to each other. For example, if we select this image and change its height to, let's say, 300 pixels, you will see that this image is positioned on the top left compared to this image. Now, if we return back to our Flex properties, we can change that. For example, now you can see that it's aligned on the top, but we can change it to the center, to the end, or even we can use the stretch feature that makes sure that each block has the same height in the same row. So that's pretty cool what you can do. When you are done designing in the editor, you simply click Save and Exit to return to the application. As a final example of Flex, I'm going to go back to our grid component that we built in the previous video. So I'm going to open it inside the design editor. And I'm going to go to the mobile breakpoint right here. And as you can see, this design looks kind of messy, and I don't really want to use the grid for the mobile view of this component. So I'm in the breakpoint of mobile, and I'm going to change it to a vertical flex like this. As you can see, it's really easy and awesome to change your design like that. Right now, I'm going to bring the picture to the front, and I'm going to hide my background, and I'm going to bring the text to the back like this. And you can use every flex property like we explained in the previous video, and this is a cool way how you can design with grid for desktop or tablets and change to flex when you go to a mobile breakpoint, and that's really cool. So we click save and exit to update our components. I hope you enjoyed this video and would like to thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.